さっさと和解の印をしろ。
Stories are equipment for living. It's to give us a deeper and deeper understanding of what is absurd and comic and what is tragic and dark and painful, whatever. To see the full spectrum of life beyond anything we could possibly live. The wonderful thing about story is it's a museum. If you wish, you could go back and read the Odyssey or the Iliad, Mark Twain, and Tolstoy. It's all there waiting for you, and every one of those great works is as valid today as it was when it was written. The story expands your humanity, and it also enriches your understanding of how and why people in the world do the things they do to equip you to live more successfully.
So, let me picture something for you. It's 2000 something, and you just finished watching one of the most hyping episodes of your favorite show. You're thrilled and filled with emotions, thinking, yes, this is exactly what I was looking for. This is how everything is supposed to feel. For me, many times Naruto was the reason to feel that way. As I grew up, without realizing it became an important part of my life. Meaning that usually when something complicated came up, I will remember its characters and their words. Either if it was out of pure motivation or even bitterness when a challenge knocked at my door or when suffering from a close one's action, somehow Naruto's lesson breaked into my head and it teach me something. Maybe this will sound weird, but if you resonate with it, then you may have realized the same thing that I did. That it was not a matter of if this was anime or not. There was something in its story that spoke a truth about life and struggle. Something hard to grasp or explain but present underneath its philosophical and appealing look. They surely weren't just cartoons throwing punches at each other. Over time and after many years digging into storytelling, I eventually found myself an answer. Something that I call Naruto's greatest decoy. Hello, my name is Josh, and this is Story Strokes, the place where we learn how stories work. Stories are the essence of life, constrained within an event, character, and their relationships. Someone. That happens to be me. Now, we came to Naruto initially to see this, but we end up watching this. And the question is not that much why, but how. How I start watching a series about a ninja trying to become the strongest one in his village and end up craving for this sort of bromance moment. And how this Asian man that I don't know and who lives on the other side of the world makes me thank him for it. How did I end up falling into such a decoy? The answer to that is simple, and that's because he's working through the almighty laws of storytelling. Think of it like a sort of power, magic in a way. For those who know how to use these laws on their behalf, to bend reality is just a child's game, and this isn't different to what political parties do in your country. We all know there's something odd about what they all say or how they say it, but it still works somehow. So yeah, sure, most people use this skill as if they were pickpocket artists. And that's why it's so simple to fall into bait, scrolling down or searching a new series to watch. The truth, no matter the less, it's that beyond being an incomprehensible type of magic, storytelling it's more of a science. And that's how you end up calling a drama between two ninja friends your favorite show. In order to understand that better, last video we took the whole Naruto's classic series and break it into 5 pieces, developing Kishimoto's application of these so-called laws, principles, and concepts throughout his work. Now, I strongly recommend you to watch over that video after this, as we dive deep into every story beat and their theme, modeling a way to extract the ideas that I'm going to tell you from it. As the main thing of this video, we're going to overview the 10 left beats of Naruto's story, following the theme you're watching right now on screen, to grab a simple depiction of both Naruto's story breakdown and the basic structure of any given story. There are between 3 to 28 or even more specific steps, bits or changes through which every story should pass. But we're going to narrow it down to 15 here. These are opening, setup, theme, catalyst, debate, break, B-story, fun and games, midpoint, bad guys closing, all is lost, the darkest moment, break, climax finale, and ending, as well as other specific type of arrangements you can use to settle the end of a story depending on what's your story about. But in summarize, all of these steps are only a sort of workframe for a cohesive narrative with its ups and downs thought to take the viewer through an emotional journey. And like in mathematics, there are lots of possible outcomes, routes that you can follow if you get stuck, but also as in any other art craftsmanship, there's no framework that guarantees your success. These are but useful guidelines that you can think as your tools in your storyteller's toolbox, as our friend Stephen King will say.
The code is more what you'd call guidelines than actual rules.
Now, I'm not going to explain every single one of these concepts, that will probably take like an entire college degree. Instead, I'll walk you through Naruto's approach and use of it. Starting from the very beginning, Naruto's first arc, Land of Ways, focuses on introducing the main elements of the plot, working as an opener for the story and its world. The Chunin exams arc was to set up the theme of the story depicted in Naruto's and Sasuke's different approach to the so-called Shinobi Way, as well as developing the series through its side stories. Konoha's Crush works as a catalyst event. Tsunade's Search opens a clear debate between two opposite approaches to life within a generational frame that adds depth to the story, and Sasuke's Retrieval mission arc breaks the act, leading the series to an emotional closure while raising the stakes for its second act, being the perfect moment to split the series. Now, Shippuden opens with a very complicated yet remarkably executed way of juggling a down part of an arc to set up a B-story development and laying down the elements for the rest of the story. The Tenchi Bridge mission delivers the focus of the B-story, very heavily supporting Naruto's plot with Sasuke's encounter. Akatsuki's suppression arc dives and delivers on the current conflict between Orcas and the enemy, creating an overall feeling of advance and emotional attachment, while Itachi's pursuit arc basically is a downbeat and works for carrying the story while rearranging its elements for the next two beats. And then we have the tale of Jiraiya the Gallant, and boy oh boy if this arc shows Kishimoto's mastery of his craft, because our expectations were never so overcome, villains never so strong, nor death so heart-touching. Precisely all of what this bit is about. Because here, when the cards are all folded, the stakes breaks the roof in terms of how the future looks. And then we have the fated fight between brothers, and after that, Pain's assault arc. Some of the most tense, hyping, mind-blowing, and overall delivering moments in the whole series. Itachi's death and Sasuke's change of mind wrap the all is lost beat, and Pain's ride to Konoha take us in a journey in and out of the darkest moment of the series, so satisfying at the end that there's just no other moment like that for the series. From here on, we're just preparing for the closure fight between Naruto and Sasuke, while closing all the other stories in a way. And given the nature of the story as an epic tale, the Kagesu's mid arc settles the climax for a war. Finally, the great finale takes us in a 5 stages journey through the 4th Shinobi War, as it states in the image you should be watching now on screen, of which, by the way, I'll do a video if enough people ask, cause it will just be too much for this video. And at the very end, all the elements of the story align themselves in order to make our last confrontation the key to solve the entire conflict of the plot. It truly is like magic, and when I discovered this pattern on Naruto, I couldn't believe it either. It was there all the time, and yet I wasn't able to see it. invisible to the eye, the almighty laws of storytelling were rigging my passion for this story, as with many other more. So, without realizing, I fell into a decoy, and oh boy, oh boy, if I'm glad I did. Because it's the unique way in which Kishimoto applied this into his work what caught my heart and took it to one of the most meaningful journeys I've had, both as viewer and as a writer. But Josh, how can we use this knowledge to forfeit our bad writers' habits and become as close to writing next Naruto as possible? Well, my friend, you can actually surpass Kishimoto's achievements, because now that his work is done, you can learn from him. You just need to dive into the understanding of this science. Now, if you're lucky enough, you'll be able to watch the next video of this series by clicking in the upper right corner, where I'll be explaining furthermore into these almighty laws of storytelling. But if you happen to be one of the first watching this video, don't forget to check out the link in the description and subscribe to my newsletter by filling the following form with your email. I'll be sending more breakdowns like this, as well as more storytelling related content. I'm Josh, and this was another episode of Story Strokes. Take care of yourself, keep up the good work, and see you later.